want to welcome everyone. We have a great turnout tonight. I'm very excited about this event. We have a very special guest of honor. My name is Kimberly Kaminsky. I am the Executive Director of Oregon Citizens for Safe Drinking Water. And I'm also the Director of Clean Water Portland. For the past decade, Oregon Citizens for Safe Drinking Water has worked at the state level to prevent the state from passing a bill that would mandate fluoridation for all water districts in the state that serve 10,000 people or more. We have been successful every legislative attempt that they have tried to bring this before the legislature. I think they finally realized that it's easier to convince 3 out of 5 city council members than it is to convince 151 legislators in Florida. Clean Water Portland evolved out of the basic backdoor attempt to get this rammed through City Hall on a fast track without input from the public and without comment and opportunity for us to be heard. This is a violation of due process, and no matter how you feel about the issue, we all need to be concerned about City Council going through this undemocratic process to ram something through without the input from the people that are going to be drinking our water. We have filed an initiative to put this to the voters, and Randy Leonard has vowed that it's going to start flowing through Portland's drinking water supply by March of 2014. That's 2 months before the initiative will be put on the May primary ballot. What is the rush? Why don't they want us to decide? What makes them think that they know better than us what's good for us and what we want to drink and what we don't? Tonight is our opportunity to help spread the word about this effort, because I think there's a lot of people in town that don't realize what's going on, and it has been a real rush attempt to push this through without the public knowing. And it's very, very important that we spread the word. We need campaign contributions and we need volunteers, because we're going to have a lot of signatures to gather, and we don't have much time to do it. And I have been overwhelmed with the amount of support we have gotten so far within just a very short amount of time. Tonight, it's my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Paul Connett. He is a retired professor of chemistry and environmental toxicology. He's probably the world's most renowned expert on fluoridation, and we are very lucky and fortunate to have him here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Paul Connett.
Thank you everyone for coming. This is a momentous time here. What you're seeing in Portland is the end of fluoridation worldwide. It is absolutely clear from what you've already seen in just a few weeks that they've got no arguments, no science, and you're seeing the kind of tactics which are put in place of science and solid, rational argument. You're seeing tactics by stealth, you're seeing public relations spin up the kazoo. It's a completely orchestrated campaign from the moment it slipped into the newspaper, and we've got a political operative, I think, who organizes at least 4 of the five campaigns. You don't want to hear a great deal from me. Tonight, you need to organize, organize, organize. Bill Osmondson running the slide projector here. Could you give me the first slide, Bill? Affecting change. Next. Affecting change is like driving a nail through a piece of wood. The experts can sharpen the nail, but you need the hammer of public opinion to drive that nail home. So I'm going to do my best to sharpen the nail tonight. I know some of you have heard these arguments against fluoridation for 10, 20, 30 years. You don't need any more arguments. But let me tell you, there are developments on a daily basis which make our case stronger. Daily basis, I heard this morning that 3 more towns have stopped fluoridation in Indiana. That brings the total of towns that have stopped since October the 25th, 2010 to 56. That's over 3 million people that have stopped. And I heard this afternoon that the Premier of Queensland has called a halt to mandatory fluoridation in Queensland, something I did not expect about. Now, it's not my credentials that are important here. What's important for you is I tell the truth. I don't spin the science, I give the science straight to you. I'll try to do it as unemotionally as possible tonight. This is an emotional issue for me. I do not like science being torn up, especially the science that is meant to inform public health policy. Sometimes my sense of humour slips in and I find humour in things which I shouldn't, and that's because I was at college with John Cleese and actually played soccer with him. So anyway, without further ado, let's go to the first slide. I spent 16 years researching this issue, first as a professor, as you heard, and then secondly as the director of the Fluoride Action Network. And on that, I rely very much on my wife, who's the webmaster, and my son, Michael, who is the person that put this incredible website together, fluoridealert.org. In October 2010, with 2 other authors, next, James Beck, MD, PhD from Calgary, and Spedding Micklem, a Doctor of Philosophy and Biology from Oxford. And I really owe a huge gratitude to them, because they really got the tone right in this book. This book is not overstated, it's understated. Every single argument that we use is backed up with 80 pages of references. Next. And we give as many of the caveats as possible. We try to recognize the arguments of the other side. We thought it would raise the level of debate. Unfortunately, it hasn't. Next. Next. After 22 months, there's been no scientific response to our book from the promoters of fluoridation, and yet they continue to maintain this mantra that they are the scientists, we are the junk scientists, and it's safe and effective, safe and effective, safe and effective. I really do believe that there's some kind of commission there, that every time they can get safe and effective on the airways or on public, they get a bonus. Next. A summary of the key arguments. First of all, there is some very strong science on our side, and you're going to see that. But common sense should kill this practice. It should never have started. It's a poor medical practice to use the water supply to deliver any medicine. Any medicine. And just to demonstrate how silly it is, we've never used the public water supply since 1945, when fluoridation began, to deliver any other medicine, for obvious reasons. Once you put it in the water, you can't control the dose, because you can't control how much water people drink. You can't control who gets it. It goes to everybody, babies, infants, children, elderly, people that are sick, people that have poor kidney function, people have poor nutrition. Ask a pharmacist if there's any drug at all that he is aware of that he can give to anyone, and he doesn't have to control the dose. He'd laugh you in the face. Next, of course, and key, it violates the individual's right to informed consent to medicine. And if you don't know what that's about, go to the American Medical Association, because they have a lot about informed consent, what their doctors should do. So what Randy Leonard and Adams and Fish, is it Fish? What they're going to do, essentially, to the whole of Portland, is what a doctor in Portland could not do to an individual patient. Fluoride is not a nutrient. Some promoters occasionally slip that it is a nutrient. It is not. To demonstrate that a substance is an essential nutrient, you have to starve an animal of it in its diet and demonstrate a disease. Tooth decay is not caused by lack of fluoride, it's caused by too much sugar and not enough education. There is not one biochemical process in the body that needs fluoride. Not one. I challenge them to say, tell me, any molecule, any process, any reaction that needs fluoride. It isn't there. But, on the other hand, we can point to many, many molecules and processes in the body that fluoride interferes with. It interferes with enzymes. That's why the first opponents of fluoridation in this country was not the John Wirth Society or the Ku Klux Klan or any of these other crazy right-wingers. It was Nobel Prize winners in enzyme chemistry, like James Sumner at Cornell. It interferes with enzymes, it interferes with hydrogen bonds, it forms complexes with metal ions, it interferes with the active centers of many enzymes and proteins, it carries toxic metals to places they wouldn't otherwise go. You can go on and on and on, and I don't intend to. It's not something that you want anywhere near your body, and certainly not your baby's body. Next.